She says she's happy being single. She laughs when the topic comes up. She shrugs and says, "I'm good on my own." But let me ask you something and answer it honestly. Have you ever felt like something was off? Not dramatic, not obvious, just a subtle tension in the air. You text her. She replies, but slower than expected. You make a move. She doesn't reject you, but she doesn't lean in either. She smiles, she's polite, she's calm, and yet every move you make feels like it's being measured. Almost like you're walking through a room filled with invisible sensors. That's not your imagination. That's because it is a test. And here's the part most men never realize. Single women are not as emotionally free as they appear. They're constantly, quietly testing for emotional leadership. Not because they're manipulative, not because they enjoy games, but because at a deep psychological level, they have to. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 biggest secrets single women hide from men, not to expose women, not to villainize them, but to finally explain why attraction so often dies without a clear reason. And more importantly, why most men fail these tests without ever knowing they were being tested in the first place. Let me tell you a quick story. A man once came to me, sharp guy, disciplined, successful on paper. He said, "I don't get it. She didn't reject me. She didn't ghost me. She just faded." He replayed every conversation, every text, every date. He kept asking the same question men always ask. What did I do wrong? And the answer was uncomfortable. He didn't do anything wrong. He did something worse. He reacted. You see, attraction isn't built in moments of explanation. It's built in moments of pressure. And single women live under pressure. Pressure to protect themselves emotionally. So they don't ask direct questions like, are you confident? Are you stable? Can you lead emotionally when I pull back? They already know words are cheap. Instead, they create situations, silence, distance, ambiguity. And then they watch. Not your words, not your intentions, your composure. Most men think attraction is about saying the right thing. It's not. It's about what happens inside you when nothing is clear, when she goes quiet, when she doesn't reassure you, when she doesn't reward effort immediately. Do you stay grounded, or do you start leaking insecurity through over-texting, over-explaining, over-investing? Because here's the hard truth. Women don't fall for men who chase clarity. They fall for men who remain centered in uncertainty. And that brings us to the first uncomfortable realization. When a woman says she's happy being single, she's not lying. But she's not telling the whole truth either. Independence doesn't mean the absence of desire. Calm doesn't mean the absence of fear. And being single doesn't mean she's not scanning constantly for emotional safety. Think of it like this. Imagine she's standing behind a one-way mirror. You can't see the mirror. You can't see the checklist. You can't see the scoreboard. But every pause, every delay, every neutral response is data. How do you respond when validation is removed? How do you behave when control is taken away? Can you hold your frame, or do you collapse into reaction? That's what she's watching. And here's the twist most men miss. These tests aren't conscious. They're instinctive. Just like a man sizes up risk before entering a dangerous situation, a woman sizes up emotional safety before opening herself. The problem is, most men interpret these tests as disinterest. So they try harder, they explain more. They invest faster. And without realizing it, they fail. Because attraction doesn't grow when you seek reassurance. It grows when she feels she has to earn your emotional access. Let me pause here and ask you something. And I want you to really think before answering. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stopped caring so much, the dynamic shifted? She leaned in more. She started asking questions. She invested. That wasn't coincidence. That was polarity returning. Because confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's measured. It doesn't rush to fill silence. And silence, to a single woman, is where the truth shows up. In the next section, I'm going to break down secret number 1, the one that confuses men the most. Why distance is not rejection, but a filter. And once you see this clearly, you'll never panic over mixed signals again. Before we move on, do this one thing for me. If you've ever felt confused by a woman who said one thing but acted another way, pause the video for a second. Ask yourself, did I react or did I remain grounded? Drop a comment later and tell me, because that answer explains more than you think. When you're ready, let's continue. Let's start with the one that trips up more men than any other, because this is usually where confusion begins. Secret number 1, she acts hard to get to test your confidence. Distance is not rejection. It's a filter. Most men interpret distance emotionally. They feel it. She's pulling away. She's losing interest. I'm about to lose her. But women don't experience distance the same way men do. To a single woman, emotional distance is not a wall. It's a lens. She's not asking, will he chase me? She's asking, what happens to him when I don't reward effort? Here's what that looks like in real life. You approach her. She's polite, calm, neutral. No strong rejection, no clear green light either. Her body language is cool. Her responses are measured. Sometimes she goes quiet for a day, sometimes 2. And this is the moment where most men fail. They try to fix the silence. They send another message. They explain their intentions. They increase effort to regain emotional certainty. But from her side of the mirror, she's watching something very specific. Can you stay emotionally centered when she removes validation? Because confidence isn't proven when everything is going well. It's revealed when nothing is reinforced. I once watched 2 men approach the same woman at different times. The first man felt the distance and panicked internally. He smiled too much. He talked too much. He leaned forward emotionally. The second man noticed the same coolness and didn't react. He slowed down. He stayed present. He didn't chase clarity. Guess which one she kept thinking about? Because when a woman acts hard to get, she's not saying, convince me. She's asking one silent question. Can you stay calm without reassurance? If the answer is no, attraction collapses quietly. Not dramatically, not loudly, just gone. And here's the brutal truth most men don't want to hear. A woman doesn't lose attraction because you didn't do enough. She loses attraction because you showed her that her emotional temperature controls you. Which brings us directly to the second secret. Secret number 2, her high standards are mostly psychological armor. The checklist is about control, not attraction. You've heard it before. She wants a man who's tall enough, successful enough, emotionally intelligent, driven, ambitious, confident, secure. On paper, it sounds logical. But if attraction worked off checklists, dating apps would produce the happiest couples on earth. Instead, they produce endless options and very little emotional connection. Here's what most men don't understand. Those standards are not primarily about finding the perfect man. They are about protecting her ego and emotional safety. A checklist gives structure. Structure creates the illusion of control. And control feels safe, especially for a woman who's been disappointed before. But real attraction doesn't respond to logic. It responds to presence. I've seen women reject men who met every stated requirement and then become deeply attracted to a man who technically shouldn't qualify. Why? Because attraction doesn't ask, does he fit my list? It asks, how do I feel around him? Does he stay grounded? Does he move through the world with certainty? Does he make decisions without seeking permission? What she says she wants protects her self-image. What she feels chooses her man. And this is why men get stuck arguing with reality. She said she wants honesty. She said she wants nice guys. She said she wants something serious. Yes, and yet she chose differently. Not because she lied, but because desire is not democratic. It doesn't vote. It reacts. Which leads to the third secret, and this one makes a lot of men uncomfortable. Secret number 3. She's drawn to men who make her earn validation. Chasing approval kills polarity. Let me be very clear here. This is not about being cold. This is not about ignoring her. And this is definitely not about playing games. This is about where validation flows. When a man seeks approval, he places the woman above him emotionally. He watches her reactions too closely. He adjusts himself to please her. He overinvests early. And without realizing it, he gives away the very thing that creates attraction, polarity. Now contrast that with a man who has standards. He listens. He observes. He doesn't rush to impress. He doesn't reward every signal. He doesn't overreact to emotional shifts. And something strange happens. She starts watching him. She wonders what he thinks of her. She invests more. She finds reasons to engage. Because attraction grows when she wonders, am I enough for him? Not because she wants to be judged, but because emotional value must feel earned to feel real. I've seen this shift happen hundreds of times. The moment a man stops trying to secure validation, the woman starts trying to secure his attention. Not consciously, not strategically, instinctively. Because desire moves towards what feels self-contained. And here's the key insight. The men women respect most are not the ones who try hardest. They are the ones who remain stable when effort is not rewarded immediately. At this point, some men start feeling uncomfortable. They say, so what? I'm supposed to withhold affection? No. You're supposed to withhold reactivity. Big difference. Affection is given freely. Validation is not. And a woman can feel that difference instantly. Now here's where things get even more interesting and more intense. Because once a woman senses emotional leadership, once she feels polarity, once she realizes you won't collapse under ambiguity, something deeper activates. And that brings us to the most misunderstood area of all, desire. In the next part, we're going to talk about the secret most men never hear spoken out loud. Why women suppress desire, why they pull close and then push away, and why sexual tension is not about speed, but safety. Before we move on, pause for a second. Ask yourself honestly, have you been trying to earn attraction? Or have you been holding your ground and letting it form naturally? Drop a comment after the video and tell me which one you've done more of, because awareness is where control returns. By now, you should be seeing the pattern, the silence, the distance, the mixed signals. They were never random. They were never meant to confuse you. They were revealing you to her. Now we move into territory most men never talk about openly, but feel constantly. Secret number 4. She loves sex, but must hide it to be respected. Desire is suppressed, not absent. Here's a truth that makes many men uncomfortable. Women experience desire just as strongly as men do, sometimes stronger. But they don't have the same freedom to express it. From a young age, women learn a dangerous lesson. If you show too much desire, you risk being judged. If you move too fast, you risk being reduced. So instead of expressing desire directly, many women contain it. They test. They pull close, then push away. They warm up, then go cool. Not because they're confused, but because they're watching one thing very carefully. Can you handle desire without losing control? Let me give you a real example. A woman feels attraction building. She flirts, she opens emotionally, then she slows things down. She creates space. And this is where many men ruin everything. They accelerate. They sexualize too quickly. They chase escalation. They let excitement override composure. And in her mind, a silent alarm goes off. Not because she doesn't want sex, but because she doesn't want to be reduced to it. She's not testing your sexuality. She's testing your emotional containment. Can you hold desire without letting it hijack you? Because a man who cannot regulate desire cannot be trusted with intimacy. This is why some women pull away right when things start to heat up, not because attraction disappeared, but because safety hasn't been confirmed yet. And that leads us to the final secret, the one hiding beneath everything. Secret number 5. Her independence often masks quiet loneliness. Strength is sometimes survival. When a woman says, "I'm fine on my own," she often means, "I've learned how to survive without leaning on anyone." Independence is not always confidence. Sometimes it's armor. Modern women are praised for being strong, self-sufficient, emotionally controlled, and many of them are. But strength has a cost, because the more controlled someone becomes emotionally, the harder it is to experience deep connection. Loneliness doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like competence, productivity, emotional restraint. She posts strong photos. She appears composed. She handles life. But at night, when there's no performance, there's often a quiet hunger for something softer. Here's the key insight most men miss. She doesn't want to be saved. She wants to feel safe enough to stop being strong. That safety doesn't come from effort. It comes from emotional leadership, from a man who doesn't need her validation, who doesn't panic when she pulls back, who doesn't collapse into reaction. Which brings us to the final revelation, the twist that changes everything. Women don't hide these things to play men. They hide them to protect themselves. And men don't fail because they lack value. They fail because they respond emotionally instead of leading internally. She's not testing your words. She's testing your composure, your nervous system, your ability to stay grounded when certainty is removed. The moment you stop reacting, you start leading. And leadership is the foundation of attraction. Let's bring it all together. She acts hard to get, to test confidence. Her standards are armor, not instructions. Validation must be earned, not chased. Desire is hidden, not absent. Independence often masks loneliness, not fulfillment. The mistake most men make is trying to force clarity. But attraction doesn't grow in clarity. It grows in calm presence. So here's what to do instead. Don't chase signals. Don't demand reassurance. Don't over-explain. Observe behavior. Maintain your standards. Regulate your emotions. When you do that, something shifts. She relaxes. She invests. She opens, not because you pushed, but because you made it safe to soften. And that is the kind of attraction that lasts. Before you go, I want you to do 3 things. First, comment below. Which secret surprised you the most? Second, if this gave you clarity instead of confusion, hit like and subscribe. And third, share this with a man who still overthinks mixed signals. Because once you understand the test, you stop failing it. And when you stop failing it, everything changes.